Are you an international student coming into the UK to study for your undergrad or master's degree? Then this video is for you. Welcome back to my channel. My name is Veronica. Today I will be addressing international students that will be coming into the UK as an undergraduate or a postgraduate student to study. I will be taking you through some things that I want you to know if you're coming in to study, some of which I was aware before I came in and was already prepared for, but some of which I had to learn along the way. But this video would enlighten you already so that when you come here, you're already fully prepared. Although I wasn't prepared for everything, I met the others as a shock, or I just had to adapt one way or the other. That's why I decided that since more people will be coming in a few months' time, like September, October, and January, and in the long term, I want you to learn this before you come so that you can be prepared. So I'm going to be sharing with you a few points or few things that I feel that you should be prepared for before you come in as an international student. If this is something you always want to see from me as an international student here in the UK, I would like that you mention it in the comments so that I can make more videos, although I have it already in my mind to make similar videos like this so that people that are coming into the UK can prepare. But if you have specific topics, please let me know. And it's also at this point that I would encourage you to subscribe. If you have not subscribed yet to my channel, subscribe, encourage me, give me a thumbs up, share to people that you think will love it. I see all of these and it makes me encouraged to continue. So make sure that you subscribe and turn on the notification bell, most especially so that you can learn and be abreast of all of the things that you need to know, especially as a student. If you need motivation, if you need new information, if you need to learn new things in terms of self-development and self-love, make sure that you stay tuned to this channel. Anyways, let's delve into today's video. Sometimes we think that the major hurdle or the most important hurdle we need to cross is to get into the UK, get our admission, get to apply for our visas and get our flights booked before coming into the UK. And then when we come here, that we've solved most of the issues or the hurdles we need to cross. But I want to assure you that there are a whole lot of other important things that you have to prepare yourself for, especially as a student. I am going to be talking from a general perspective, not only from the perspective of someone that is on a scholarship. I'm considering both from the perspective of either being self-sponsored or being on a scholarship. The number one thing I want you to know if you're coming into the UK to study is that you have to learn to be a multitasker. So this is not to scare you, but honestly, when you come here, you're not only going to focus on studies, you're going to focus on other things like accommodation if you've not already started it. You're going to focus on other things like trying to meet up with classes if you missed a lot of class, trying to catch up with your lecturers, trying to settle down with registration, trying to get familiar with all of the environment, trying to also get familiar with all of the resources you need in school. And another thing you also have to work on is how to get a job if you're already not settled in that area. For someone like me, I didn't have to work for so long. I had to work, but I didn't have to work for so long because of some, issues that this video might not be for. But if you really want to know about how I survived financially and how I was able to cope with school and manage all of that area, I can do a video for you. But honestly, you would have to focus on so many things at the same time. Like, nothing is stopping for something. And that is what I call multitasking. So please, if you are one person that would always love to focus on just one thing, it might be a bit difficult for you. That's why I'm, giving you the heads up now so that probably you can start combining a number of things together. If you are still in your local country, you can start working on maybe picking up some courses and picking up some practice materials and then do other things alongside with it so that you have a feel of what that looks like. It's different when your accommodation is settled. If it is settled, good for you. It's different when you already have a source of income. If that is settled, good for you as well. But If all of these are not settled and you're coming here to do all of it, it's going to look overwhelming. It's going to feel overwhelming, and it's going to look like you have so many things that you're running after at the same time. But if you prepare your mind for that, then it's going to be much more easier. I hope you get it. Now let's move to the second thing you need to be prepared for. You need to know when you're coming in as an international student. The second thing that you need to know as an international student coming into the UK to study is that you will meet new concepts, especially in class. So it doesn't matter if you have studied a similar course from your country where you're coming from. When you're coming, you have to prepare your mind that you will meet new concepts. It might not be as smooth and as easy as you expect it to be. So someone like me, my BSc was in accounting in Nigeria, and when I came here, I chose finance to be my course of study for a master's degree. And to be honest, although I found some similar concepts, but they were also new concepts, a whole lot of new concepts, because masters is kind of broad and it's going to be on an advanced level. So even if I had met some part of it, it was now broader, it was now more advanced. So I still needed to put in a lot of work. So do not overlook it. Do not have this expectation that I would survive. After all, it's the same course I did in my bachelor's degree, or I've met this course before. Yes, if you've met the course before, it will be similar, but trust me, it's going to be on a more advanced level. So open your mind to meeting with new concepts, because I don't think you would escape that. Although the residual knowledge you have from what you know already might help you, but do not be too overconfident that because you know this thing, I might not put in too much effort. Trust me, the technique and the method of teaching and studying is quite different here. You meet with new sets of people, new sets of lecturer. So that alone might kind of make the experience different, and the concept is even something that you have to research on more, learn more, read more on, get more materials on before you can be able to cope with that course. The third thing I want you to prepare your mind for is that you're going to be studying independently a lot. So you have to be an independent person to an extent, because nobody will tell you that this is where you should go to, this is what you should download, this is when they would announce this. This is like, you have your personal profile, you have your personal portfolio, and there's this profile that has all of your courses, all of the information you need, everything you need to know, and you are the one that will independently go and search for those information. So if you're someone that would always love someone to remind you that this is when the coursework is due, this is when your paper will be due, honestly, you might find yourself missing deadlines, and it will not be funny. I'm going to touch up on deadlines later in this video. It will not be funny. You have to be an independent person. You have to be proactive if you're coming in here to study. So it's actually different from where I came from as a bachelor's degree holder, because then it was not an automated process, right? So the lecturer comes in, gives you all the information, you have a course rep, the course rep passes information, you have a group where everyone relates with each other. It's not so independent, but this one is 100% independent. There's no group, there's no course rep, there's no representative, right? You have to find every information that you want to find by yourself. Nobody will remind you that submit your paper. Everything you're submitting is online. You can be in your room and you finish up a coursework and you're uploading that coursework, and it's getting to the lecturer directly from where you are. You don't have to come to school to submit. You don't have to relate with anybody. You don't have to talk to anybody. Everything you're doing is with you and your computer, your system, your laptop, your profile on the school's portal. I hope you understand. So be an independent person, be proactive. If you already do not have this skill, try to start practicing it. Don't let anybody remind you when you have to do something. Try to do what you're supposed to do at the right time. Start practicing it, and it will really help you, honestly. And if you're someone that knows that you struggle with this a lot, when you get here, you have to look for people that you will work with that would push you to do these things so that you do not fall behind. I hope this helps. The next thing I want you to know if you're coming into the UK as an international student is that deadlines are real, and if you miss them, you will face the consequences. So it's not like African time when they tell you to come to a party or come to a function by 3 a.m. and people are just coming in by 6 a.m. That's not the case. If your lecturer says that this coursework is due on Tuesday by 10 a.m., by 10 a.m. it is due. If you do not submit it, you are going to lose 30% of your mark. Honestly, and 30% is a whole lot. So imagine that you are writing a coursework of 100%, and on a normal day you're not even going to get 100 over 100. Let's say you get 80 over 100 and you do not submit at the right time. Because you do not submit at the right time, you lose 30% out of the 80 marks. Please calculate it yourself. How many marks is left? If you now get something like 50 and you lose 30% out of it, calculate it yourself. How many is left? So I'm sure that it varies from school to school. The consequences might vary, but trust me, deadlines are real and they stick to it without pity, to be very honest. So if you're someone that you forget things a lot, please get a book and write it down. I think I have a similar tracker where I wrote down all of my deadlines for second semester, and I am always looking at it. I have a mental note. I know that, okay, this particular course, the coursework is due on this date. I must not miss it. This particular course, the coursework is due on this day. So it also makes me to prioritize which one should I work on first, which one should I put in more speed on, which one am I lagging behind on. It kind of makes me track these things. And the way my school works is that the only reason why they can pardon you for your deadline is if you apply for mitigating circumstances. That mitigating circumstances, honestly, sometimes when you apply, they would not usually grant it to you. It has to be a serious issue, probably an health issue, and you have a backup showing that, okay, it's because of my health challenge. That was why I was not able to meet up this deadline. And so you apply and then they approve. If they approve, you can now show it to your lecturer, and then your lecturer can pardon you and probably give you your full mark or extend the deadline for you. But if they do not approve that mitigating circumstance, you are going to face the consequence by getting your mark deducted. And if after 5 days as well, if you do not also submit, you are not going to get any marks. So I think between the deadline and 5 days, you lose 30 marks, and after that you lose the whole mark, except with an approved mitigating circumstance. I'm sure it will vary in every other school. There'll be a name for it, but trust me, deadlines are real. Start practicing, start keeping mental note of all of your deadlines so that you do not have to miss it. Another thing I want you to be prepared for if you're coming in as an international student is to be financially prepared. And what do I mean by that? Make sure that you have enough money to take you through the year so that you are not overwhelmed, so that you are not distracted. Some of you might be thinking, are you not a scholarship student? Why are you still telling us about money? You have nothing to worry about. Let me tell you, even as a scholarship student, I still needed to figure out my financial life because my stipend was not paid to me immediately. It took about 2 months before I got my stipend paid. But I'll tell you what I did to survive. But if you know that you can get something like the personal travel allowance, I know there were people that got that and were able to apply and get that. Please get it. Do not say that I'm going to come here and wing it. What's the word? They'll say, oh, rugged it. Don't come here and rugged it and when you don't have money. Honestly, it's going to be tough for you. Nobody does any free thing here. I'm not even joking, please. Nobody does any free thing here. Accommodation is not free. Feeding is not free. Try and get money. Let me tell you what I did. What I did was that I reached out to my sister. I have a sister that I could reach out to and borrowed. The word borrowed. I did not say she should dash me. So you guys be considerate of people. Everybody is working for the money. And I told her, please, I need this amount of money. When I get the money I'm expecting, I will pay you back. Don't say you come here and get a job immediately. You will get a job, but it might not be the time you expect to get it. Please sort out cash first, no matter how small. Even if it's £100, even if it's £200, please do not come here without any money that you can use to fend for yourself, okay? So I told her, borrow me this amount of money, and the first thing I did when I got my stipend was to pay it back to her. Don't say Veronica asked you to borrow money and you will not return that money back. Honestly, this is one thing that I do not like doing, borrowing money. I think apart from this instance where I borrowed that money, I really can't remember when I have borrowed money from anyone. And that's how important this particular point is. Because I saw that it's an important one, I had to fall on that option. Right? That shows you how important it is for someone like me that do not usually borrow. But immediately I got back my stipend, I paid back. So even if you're a scholarship student, if you are in the kind of scholarship that will not pay you immediately, don't come here and start saying that you're going to survive. You won't survive. It's hunger that will deal with you. Honestly, feeding here is not very expensive. So that's what I'm saying. No matter how small it is, keep with you so that you are not stranded, so that you can focus on your study. It is very, very important. If you can get the PTA, I don't know so much about it, but contact your bank, get it. If you have someone that can borrow you, please borrow. Don't come here and start begging people. Don't come here and start crying and regretting and not focusing on what you came here for. Okay, it's very important. That's why I'm dwelling so much on it. Like I said, if you want to know about how I survive financially, what I spend money on in a typical month, how much I spend, and the whole calculation like that, you can let me know and I'll make a video for you that will just give you like an overview or give you an idea of what that is. But trust me, everyone has different spending habits. I'm not a frivolous spender, so you might not compare my own spending with your own spending. I think the major thing I spend money on here is rent, and rent is like a primary need, so you can't avoid it. But aside rent, every other thing I need just a few amount of money to cover that. So please have money with you. Okay, another major thing I want you to know as an international student when you're coming in is that your mental and emotional health is very important. Take care of it. Make sure that you are mentally stable, you are emotionally stable. It will not be easy because I thought I was emotionally stable when I came into the UK, but right from the first day when I got to the airport, I was already shaking because the stress alone was on another level. In the airport, I was already crying because so many things happen in the airport. Honestly, I do not want to go into the details, but I feel like maybe later in the year I'll talk about that. But the experience was really, really shaking. It was new to me. And it was until I got into the UK that I settled down. Thank God I met some friends that made things really easy for me. It would have been difficult to get over the experience I had on the day I was coming in and then move on with my life. But please, if you need to practice self-care, if you need to sleep enough, if you need to eat enough, if you need to encourage yourself before you come here, please do it, because a lot of things will shake you. Sometimes you expect that you get a job within 1 month and you've not gotten it. Sometimes you expect that you get good grades and you're getting grades that will not even encourage you. Sometimes you meet people that are just rude to you. You just get this subtle kind of reactions from people and you just like, okay, it's just friends I want to make. Why am I meeting with people that are not friendly? I'm not saying everyone is not friendly, but I'm just trying to explain to you that there are situations that you might meet that you might not expect. Also, another thing that might shake you is the weather. The weather might not be very conducive and you're like, oh God, who sent me? Why am I doing this to myself? Why am I here? Your general health, mental, emotional might just be tested. So please try to take care of it, especially even when you come here. Even if you're not fully prepared, when you come here, just know that it's part of it and you are going to pass through the phase. It's just a phase and you're going to scale through it. Okay, so just encourage yourself. Be ready by knowing that things might not actually play out the way you've pictured it in your head. So it might actually be a different experience. So prepare your mind for that and trust me, you will scale through. One major important thing again that you have to prepare for is how to write research papers, how to write coursework, how to write your research, your project at the end of your study. It's going to be quite different, honestly. So try to practice, try to watch videos, try to ask people that are already in your school, how does it work? What do I need to learn? What do I need to know? Prepare yourself for that area. It's totally different from what you would do in school, especially your coursework. Probably in school when you're coming from, or maybe the lower degrees that you had, they just teach you and then they give you assignments based on what you are taught. Sometimes here it's not the case. When you are taught something, they give you an even advanced coursework and you have to go and research on your own. So try to learn or practice how to make research. Is very important. There's no way that you will not make research, especially if you are coming for a master's. You will research, you will look for information, you will make a lot of advanced search that you never expected that you would do. So please prepare on that. Do not just pack food, do not just pack clothes, do not just prepare physically coming here. Prepare also academically so that you can survive, so that you can get good grades, and so that you can be more settled when you get here. Another important thing that I want you to know is that MSc is very fast paced, or studying here is very fast paced, in the sense that there is already a timeline for everything. There's already a calendar. Even before the year when you are studying, the school already has a calendar, especially for MSc degree, because that was what I studied. But I want to believe that it's going to be the same for undergraduate degree as well. So it's not in that same year that things are planned already. The calendar is already planned even way before you start that academic year. So they know that this particular course, this is when the coursework is due. This particular course, this is when it's starting. It's starting on January 13th, for example, and it's ending after 12 weeks, which is April something. Okay, so it's already timed, and hardly would anything change except on rare occasions, and nothing like that happened. No rare occasion like that happened in my own case. If the calendar says it's starting in January 13th, it's starting in January 13th, and it's going to end on the date at which it says it will end. So it's fast paced and it has already been timed. So you have to be really, really prepared. Know that everything is already timed and everything is already scheduled. So hardly would you see any changes. So prepare to have a fast-paced education, especially as a master's student. Time will be flying so fast, you will not even know when the deadline will be there. So you need to start working as early as possible. Another thing I think that can help you is to relate with past students, immediate past students. For someone that are coming in, you can relate with people in my own set that would keep you abreast of things that have happened. But let me just tell you that be ready to do the work by yourself. These people won't do the work for you, but they would give you information that you need to know. So apart from having friends in your own set, you can also have friends in the immediate past set, and that's one thing that really helped me. Most of my friends are in the immediate set before me, and they really helped me a lot, especially when I had a lot of questions about my courses. They were there to tell me that, okay, this is how your coursework is, but this is what we were given, this is how they will mark it, this is what you should expect, or it's a similar thing that we did, this is how you should approach it, this is how you should do it, this is how you should read, these are the materials you should get. It will really help you because those ones are already experienced it and they are even done already with their studies. So they're just going to put you on that track and it's going to be more easier for you. So reach out to people in your course that are in previous year, and I feel that you would learn a number of things from them. So I think I've given you about 9 points already, but let me give you this bonus point and we'll round up the video from there. Be sure to come in early if you can. Try to come in early for your studies if you can. It will save you a whole lot of stress, honestly. Like in one of my videos, I mentioned that I came in on the 6th week of the first semester and I had missed a lot, so it was a whole lot of catching up that I had to do. The induction week had passed and there was no time to settle, so because I'd even missed over 5 weeks of lecture, it was a whole lot of catching up to do. As I was trying to catch up with class, I was trying to meet up with deadlines, I was trying to get accommodation, I was trying to settle down, I was trying to make friends, trying to know people, trying to meet up with a lot of things. Some of us, it would be really difficult to come in early, but if you can, please do. It will save you a lot of stress. Don't negotiate it. Don't say you'll be catching up. If you can, please choose an earlier date, if possible 1 week or 2 weeks before your resumption date, and settle in properly before classes start so that you do not miss anything. Because if you miss anything, it will look as if the lecturer is speaking Spanish, even when it's a course that you thought that you've learned before, because the concepts here are quite different. The way of teaching is quite different. So even 1 week alone of lecture is a whole lot. Not now mention 6, or even some people that have missed up to 10 weeks of lecture is a whole lot. Except you're really strong at it, it would really take a toll on you. So please, I hope this point you'll be able to pick 1 or 2 that would help you when you get here. If you have any more questions, please let me know. If you want me to make a video about anything you have in mind, maybe a question from what I have talked about, let me know in the comment section and I will make it for you. So for the next few videos. It's going to be information for international students. So please subscribe and turn on your notification bell, because I realize that a number of people will be coming in soon in September, October, probably January. These videos will help you. Stay tuned, subscribe, and share this video to people that you think would need it. Also, give me a thumbs up. This would encourage me, like I said earlier, and it would connect us more. I would know you better. Engage with me and we'll get to know each other better. I'll answer your questions, and then it's going to be us building a community from there. Thank you so much for watching. Thank you so much for sticking with me. I really appreciate, and I'll see you all in my next video. Bye everyone.